Hi everyone, welcome to Tater Tots and Tabletops. My name's Alex, and today I'm going to be going over why you should be playing role-playing games with your family. Full disclosure, there is a big difference between a tabletop RPG, such as Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, and a video game. The video game aspect is what we're going to be focusing on in today's video. The tabletops we'll cover in a different video. So here's a couple reasons why you should be playing RPG video games with your kids. Let's take a look. Reason number 1, math. Now, this one probably sounds the most boring out of all the reasons. Math is not something that we like to think about outside of work or school, but role-playing games have a way to keep you sharp with basic skills without making you realize you're doing math. A good example of this is equipment management. In most RPGs, the amount of damage you can do is based off your equipment statistics. You have a sword that does 24 damage, then you find an axe with 36. You see the increase, you put together, the damage goes up by 12, and you're none the wiser that just had you subconsciously do math. Then you pair that with a spell that doubles your damage, and you keep trying to maximize your output while doing the math to get the most out of your equipment. This is extremely beneficial for everyone. All kids in school are doing problems in their heads, and parents outside of school are staying sharp. All games, including RPGs, are just programs based off of numbers, but RPGs really shine in this area. Number 2, reading. Way back when, before every video game had animated and dubbed cutscenes, storylines were conveyed by reading every bit of the story as it came on the screen. Now this is not commonplace, but in most RPGs there's usually a quest log that lists key parts of the story that you can read if you've forgotten. There are books you can pick up to learn about the lore of the world. Going back to the inventory system, you can read about effects of items, even in combat situations, reading about enemies and their vulnerabilities. These are all ways to help improve skills while being simple enough to not even make you realize that you're reading. For kids, this is especially helpful because some words they might not know, and even yourself you may not be sure of, and you can look it up together. It's just another way these games make learning fun. 3, memory. Now, this one may be a bit of a stretch, but it's definitely something that I believe. The RPG genre is dominated by the intense, high-octane FPS or first-person shooter man, I can't say genre. The high-octane or first-person shooter genre, and its appeal is definitely understandable. You get in a match, you run, jump, shoot, build in some cases, and do your best to get that chicken dinner, and that's great, but the extent of focus is, I drop in, fight a match, win or lose, rinse and repeat. There's very little long-term narrative to this type of game, and I believe that aside from strategy and coordination, offers very little in terms of development. RPGs, you can compare a lot of the storylines to the old board game memory. You're going to new places and finding new things, but a lot of the story revolves around the same characters, cities, and key events. So, after playing hours and hours and hours of exploring, you reconnect with that old piece and that long-term memory sets in. Now, every RPG is not going to be suitable for every family. There's imagery in each game that may be inappropriate for kids, so it's your job as a parent to narrow down what's acceptable for your kids and then check the ratings on the games to make sure everything's okay for them. But if you do this properly, everybody can have a good time playing together, learning together, and not even realizing it. Thank you, I'm Alex, and if you like the channel, go ahead and like this video and subscribe down below. I'll be posting more content on RPG video games and on tabletop games, and we'll see you when we see you. Take care. Alright, so